Hey guys, Patriot here with you tonight. On the desktop you can see the Zero Tolerance ZT Model 301. The 301's got the Ranger Green handles and the Strider typed Tiger Stripe DLC blade. I've actually done this video a couple times already, but it just kept running too long. I mean, I had a lot of detailed stuff there, but we're going to try to condense this a little bit. In any case, it's got the Gerber speed lock on it, or speed safe, I should say. And you can see it's, for a large heavy blade, it is pretty snappy. I noticed that as I've used this knife a bit, that this is getting a little bit faster. It also helps if you give this a good positive pull. The quicker you pull it, obviously the quicker the blade's going to deploy. You can also open this with the thumb stud, but it might be important to back off of the trigger here a little bit, because if you push on the thumb stud while your finger's right up there, that's normally where I would hold it. It kind of presses against your finger. Now it'll slide past if you push it, but sometimes slows it down. So if I'm going to use the thumb stud, I choke back away from that trigger a little bit, and then it's real fast and easy. Now that's kind of maybe the third opening method for me with this knife, because typically the way that I'm going to operate this is to just give it a flip this way. You've probably seen in other videos where I'm operating my X2 Voyager and I just flip it like this. I gotta be careful not to hit a camera, but that's usually how I'll be using this knife. It's just a flip of the wrist, and the inertia carries the blade past the point of no return where the spring kicks in right about there, and it springs open. So it's real positive. I've got 3 ways of opening this knife. The typical way is going to be just like that. So, alright, so what role does this knife fill in my blade arsenal? Well, let's go on back here to the Voyager X2, which you've seen in many reviews. Well, not so much a specific review, but in a lot of hiking videos and whatnot. You can see the size of the X2. It's massive. This thing is a pocket sword for the most part. You know, they've got even bigger knives than this, but this is the one that I can carry comfortably on a daily basis and not have it get in the way. I love to carry a large emergency blade. I'll carry a smaller blade to open up boxes and stuff like that for small cutting tasks, but if I really need a serious blade for something, I like to have it on me. And this is the one. This is with me just about every day. I'd say it's probably on my person, you know, at least 6 days out of the week, sometimes more. I'm not going to this ZT because I have a problem carrying the XT, or the X2 Voyager. I'll often hear it said that something is too big to EDC. Well, that becomes very subjective. It's kind of a relative thing when it comes to knife size, and if a blade carries easily for a person, it's not too heavy, it doesn't give somebody a hard time while it's in their pocket. You know, it lays pretty flat and close. It's got a good pocket clip on it. I don't really think that there's such a thing as too big. Some of you might disagree with that, but for the most part, as long as it carries in a nice slim package like this does. Before this I carried the Vaquero Grandes. I actually had 2 of them, but I went to this because it had a deeper belly in it here, which I really like, and it had a standard edge all the way back. So this thing is this thing pops hairs. It is a real sharp machine. So a great blade. I love it. The reason that we're going to this, I'll be going on a trip pretty soon. Some of the transportation that I'm taking does not allow me to have a blade longer than 4 inches. This thing's 6 inches long. The Onslaught, for example, is 4.3 inches long, so even that's too big. So I had to back off. I kind of had one in the arsenal. That's the Spyderco Military. A great blade. This is my second military. I think I gave the first one to my brother. I can't remember what I did with it, but in any case, this is a great knife. Good thick spine on it up here, nice flat ground blade, which I love. You can see this one's seen a little bit of use and abuse. Up here, the tip is stained. I cut through a muriatic acid container, a gallon of it, through the foil at the top to remove it. and forgot to rinse it off, so it stained the blade. I got some tape up there. So yeah, I don't baby this thing, and I don't baby the X2 either. So you can see I've got a reasonable amount of wear here in the pocket clip. Great knife, liner lock, G10 scales, great knife, very slim. That's probably one of its great attributes. On the downside, it's a tip down carry. Really dislike tip down carry. I'm not a fan of it at all. I kind of made the compromise because the knife is so good. I can kind of put up with it, but if I have my choice, I'll always go tip up carry. It's just a much more natural draw out of the pocket, a lot speedier. Okay, how about a nice close look at this knife here? I'll try to keep the light on it. Alright, you can see this has got a nice deep belly in it. This is their tungsten or their DLC coating, the diamond light carbon coating. S30V steel. It's supposed to be some very wear resistant stuff. Haven't put it through the ringer yet. Probably be doing that on my trip. We'll see how that actually holds up. S30V steel, excellent stuff. One of my favorites actually. On a side note, it's slightly anti-reflective, so I think it provides a lot of character more than anything else. The way I understand that they do this is they coat the entire thing with their DLC coating, and then they bead blast this off in a semi non-random pattern. You can see not all the tiger stripes are shaped exactly the same. Let me give you a close look here with the loop. If we look at the edge of the blade, you can see there it's got a lot of machining marks on the edge of the blade. I'd like to see a better finished edge than this. This isn't uncommon actually. The Benchmade Onslaught's exactly the same way when it comes to that edge. I think that they need to go to a finer grit and really polish that down. The Spyderco was the exact same way. About the only knife that I haven't seen like that was the X2 and some of the other Cold Steels. It seems like they really care about the kind of edge that they put on there. I'd like to see a little bit nicer finished edge. With just a little quick touch up on the Spyderco Sharp Maker, it was popping hairs off the arm, no problem. And you can see it comes right off. So, yeah, good sharp blade. I think it would be a little less friction if that was a nice high polished. You know, I don't know what they're using. If that's a 400 grit, they probably need to go to an 800 grit and just add one more sharpening step in there. You can see it has a 3/8 inch hex nut on here with a couple of flat sides. You could even grab this with a Leatherman or a plier if you needed to adjust that in the field, so you don't need to carry a Torx with you or an Allen screw or an Allen wrench, I should say. That's real handy. You can see these G10 grips here in the Ranger Green have been 3D machined. Real precise cuts on it. Nice, good texture. Not too sharp, but it's got plenty of bite when it's in the hand. Look at the awesome jimping up here. Very cool. Gives you good, secure thumb push. This really isn't a thrusting knife or a dagger or anything like that, but if you ever had to really bear down and stick this into something, you know, what you worry about is going through the soft whatever and hitting something real hard, or you miss with a thrust or something like that. That's where this little extended guard right here formed by the speed safe trigger and this nice ramped up jimping here, you can really push against that. You can see we've got Torx hardware all here. Nice little lanyard hole here. Got some jimping on the back for the heel of the hand. Real nice, very well thought out. I really like the attention to detail that's been put into this knife. Okay, over on the other side, we've got another 3D machined scale. Come on, camera. Struggling a little bit on me. There we go. And this is actually a solid slab of titanium, this entire scale here. You can see it's been cut out here for the frame lock. It's got an over travel stop on it that's right underneath my clip. You could actually see that real easy, or very easily, back when I had the clip mounted here, which it came in the box as a tip down carry. Within a day I had that switched around to a tip up carry. Really, really nice machining. Got a little bit of wear on it. I've been wearing it for about a week now. From what I understand, the scale here started off as a piece of .190 thick slab of titanium, which I think is the thickest slab of titanium that's been used on any production knife for a handle. So real thick stuff, and then they kind of machined it down from there. Good look at the blade there, which by the way is 3 3/4 inches long. It's 0.156 inches thick. If we go to the handle thickness, right behind the pivot point, we're at 6/10 of an inch or 15 millimeters there. And if I measure it right at the pivot point, which is the thickest portion of the knife, we're at just under 7/10 of an inch, or about 16.5 millimeters. This isn't a thin knife. It's a far cry from the Spyderco Military, which is probably one of the ultimate examples in a thin, lightweight knife that's still reasonably strong. That gets us to weight. This knife's pretty heavy. It's 8.6 ounces. It's a beast. It's a tank. If you're not into a heavy knife in your pocket, this won't be the knife for you. But I think what this comes down to for me, it's very similar in weight to this, although much smaller, but it is built like a beast. It is really a tank of a knife with absolutely zero wiggle in the blade at all. There's no noise, there's no wiggle, there's no play. It's just a very, very nicely built tactical folder in every way. So at 4 inches long, or 3 3/4 inches long blade, this keeps me under the maximum blade length. And since I'm only going to have probably 2 knives on my my little adventure that I'll be going on, I wanted something that was as tough as nails, basically. And this is what I came up with after looking for a long time. I've always thought that this was a very impressive blade. Had thought about adding it to the inventory, but now I actually have a reason to add it. Price on this knife? Way high. $2.99 MSRP. Street price right around $2 1/4. You might find it a little bit less somewhere. I actually picked this up for about 90 bucks. Just had a gift certificate and had a couple of other things that brought the price down to just about nothing. So in any case, I'm very happy. I think it was 90 bucks well spent. I'll have this knife for a lifetime if I take reasonably good care of it. Okay, let's get back to that pocket clip really quick. You notice that I did switch it from a tip down carry to a tip up carry. This comes out of the pocket real good. I typically would wear this on my right side, clipped on the inside of the pocket. I can draw this and get right to work. So it's real fast for me in that tip-up configuration. But the neatest thing about this knife, or one of the really nice features, is that it's 4-way mountable clip. This was the stock setting coming down from this side. I mounted it here. On the other side, on a G10 scale, you've got 2 more mounting points. That's just really well thought out. It's so cool that they would think of that and do that. Talk about catering to some of the customer requests in the knife world. If you visit the forums, you'll see people, stuff like this, enthusiasts asking for this type of thing. Gosh, I love that. That blade just really opens up with authority. You can see how it kind of contours down in my hand here as it drops off the back. I know this review's all over the place, guys. Since I'm not going from a written script or anything, we're just kind of jumping all over the place. speaking of jumping all over the place, back to the weight, 8.6 ounces, I noticed that it does have a steel liner on this side. I put a magnet on it, and it is steel. It's not titanium or anything like that. And I'm guessing that that piece of steel, this full size of the knife here, is probably about 1.5 ounces. So if they wanted to lighten this knife up a little bit, they could probably go to titanium and save a little bit of weight. Titanium's not that much lighter. Or they could probably omit it. I look at how strong this handle is. I mean, if I squeeze that, both fingers, maximum pressure right there, there ain't much play there. So I've always been really impressed with how rigid that G10 scale is, especially being that thin. I look at this G10 scale here, which is even thicker, and I could kind of guess that it probably doesn't need that steel liner. Now maybe it has something to do with the mechanism, the spring mechanism up here where they need a steel backer. I just don't know. I haven't had this apart. I assume it's built the same way as all the other Gerber speed safes, in which case, yeah, I don't think that they actually need this, but I think that they chose to do it for pure durability and strength. Just to, if there's any question, just to get provide that extra measure of robustness. And yeah, it's a small penalty to pay. You know, 1.5 ounces for that much stoutness in a design. It is really something. By far the strongest pocket folder that I've ever owned. It's just quite a machine. I'm super impressed with it. Now they also make this knife in a model 300, which is a solid black, the same coating here, solid black blade, and they do a model 302, which is the coyote or desert tan G10 scale, and then black on the other side. I kind of like this one. I think that it's a nice contrast. This isn't too loud. The coyote's a little bit yellow, a little bit bright sometimes, and it goes really nicely with the black. I think it complements that Ranger green, kind of complements the black, and this almost takes on a greenish effect too, where they've bead blasted away that DLC coating right there. Oh, almost forgot, with the pocket clip, I wanted to mention that this is even though it doesn't look like much of a pocket clip, it's only got the two little Torx heads in it over here, and it's rather small. You'd think that this clip here would be way better. Look at how beefy that thing is with the 3 screws in it and everything, and it's real long. Turns out this one is kind of weak. We'll get back to a review on the Onslaught later. But this thing is real stout. Works great. It really clips with a lot of friction, and this is going to be important because when I'm on my vacation, I can't afford to have this thing fall out of my pocket. I'm going to be doing lots of activities, sea kayaking. I'll be doing zip lines. I'll be doing all kinds of stuff. You know, if you're up on a zip line and this thing comes out of your pocket, good luck finding that. That's pretty much a write-off. You know, drop down in a rainforest there, you'd be lucky to ever see it again. So that was real important to me, and I was happy to see how much tension is on that clip. It's really, really heavy duty. So I'm impressed with that, and it's nice and slim and trim. Doesn't leave a big footprint outside of your pant pocket. Doesn't look like you've got some big piece of hardware clipped in your pants. So really, really nice pocket clip. Okay, guys, let's move over here to the other knife I'll be taking with me. This is the Mora Bushcraft Forest. This was actually given to me by a friend. I've been meaning to do a full review on this. I actually started that one day, and it got interrupted by a little mountain lion encounter. So more on that story later. I'll be posting a video on that. It's a couple months old. I decided at first I wasn't going to share that. I've decided that I'm going to go ahead and post that. So perhaps in the next month or so I'll get that up. I'll get that rolling. In any case, I will be taking a few knives with me, but these will be the 2 workhorses. The others would probably be a chive and possibly a leek. I'll take one of them. I don't need both. We'll see which one I take. Possibly the chive. This will be doing some of the lighter work, and I'll be counting on this one for some of the heavier work. But those will be my 2 main blades while I'm up there. This has got a 4-inch blade, so I'm under the required limit there for some of the travels that I'll be taking, so that won't be an issue. Well guys, that'll pretty much wrap up this video. I am super impressed with this knife so far. Some of the other comments that I've had on the knife, my brother was just looking at this thing for the second time. He's completely blown away by it. He's really impressed. And he's a knife dude. He likes the knives and flashlights like I do, and he really appreciates high quality hardware. And he was very impressed with this knife and is going to be eyeballing one now. So if he can get a price like I got on this one, I'm sure he'll be picking one of these up. Just everything about this knife has been done right. Yes, it's heavy, but it's a compromise. It's one of those things that it's not, I guess as Nut and Fancy would say, it's not bad weight. I think that if somebody only has one knife on them or is going to have a main blade on them, a lot of us would choose to take something that was just wickedly heavy duty and has the build quality of this thing. And that's why I chose this knife to be the one that I'm going to depend on. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate the views and comments. Let me know what you think. Catch you later. Patriot out.